began to not ask him just chit-chat questions about water and how to draw it and if you had the right tools to do it with, but she begins to ask him questions she didn't understand. Why? Because her perception switched from just seeing him as a man to as a prophet, and so she began to open herself up to receive as a prophet. So what happened? It says that Jesus spoke and said, an hour is coming. To talk to the future means to prophesy. If I'm moving too fast, just hold on with me. I'm bringing it to full close right here. What happened? She saw him as a prophet, and then he was able to prophesy. But as long as she saw him as a man, he couldn't do anything. Do you know why Benny Hinn has crusades and has thousands of wheelchairs stacked up and huge piles of crutches over here? It's because people just don't regard him as Benny Hinn. Not too long ago, we went and were with Bishop Eddie Long. And it amazed me because when he walked in the room, people that were fussing and fighting over where they were sitting, they all just get all quiet and holy. Because the man of God was in the house. And we were sitting very close to the front, and I actually didn't even know it. I was sitting beside his son. I'm glad he didn't say anything I shouldn't have, but sitting next to his son. And it amazed me because the whole countenance of the place changed when he walked in. And all of a sudden, you see people getting notebooks out and turning their Bible open and ready and prepared with highlighters. They had pencils in their ears and hanging out there. Everyone was ready. They were prepared to receive something life-changing from the man of God. Now, watch this. Does Benny Hinn, Eddie Long, T.D. Jakes, or anybody else have a monopoly on the anointing of God? No. Do they have any gifting different than what's available to you? Then why is it when you come to your local house, we have to pray for 15 minutes just to get somebody to come to the altar? And then when they do for the healing, generally they go back to their seat unchanged. Their faith might be built, but we don't see blinded eyes open. We don't see people jump out of wheelchairs. We don't see people that are dead jump back to life, although I've seen those in foreign countries. Why? Because when I get there, people don't just disregard me as Adam. I know it's quiet. But the difference is, if you just see me as Adam, I am limited for what I can do for you based upon my natural ability. But if you don't just see me as Adam, but you see me as the gift that God placed in me, that it has the potential of unlocking something in you, it changes everything. And your life truly can be changed. It's all in how you regard it. What happened? It's the same gift, but you gave Benny Hinn a different reception than you give your local pastor. So the reason things go unperformed and things don't happen is based upon the simple reason you're regarding after the flesh and not the spirit. Yes. Amen. We're talking about leadership. Let's change it just a little bit. He said in 2 Corinthians 5:16 that regard no one. Somebody say no one. No one. We're talking about regarding others properly. No one. Matthew chapter 10, verse 41 and 42 tells us like this. Am I doing all right? Is this okay for everybody? I know you're hungry. I'm going to let you go in a second. He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. He that receive a righteous man in the name of righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. Verse 2. And whatsoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones, talking about children, a cup of cold water only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall receive in no wise lose his reward. Three things. Receive a prophet in the name of a prophet. What do we talk about when we start mentioning in the name of? We talk about the chain of command. In other words, if you can view a prophet, when I say prophet, let's just exchange the word for leadership. It's talking about someone over you that has the ability to speak into your life. Everybody got that? Amen. If you can receive someone above you rightly, you'll get a reward for it. Because they can speak and unlock things in you that you can't unlock yourself. Talking about regarding others properly. We've got that down. We've talked about it for a good half hour. Now let's switch it and flip it. And watch this. If you receive a righteous man rightly, in the name of a righteous man. We talked about what was in the name. It's not just the sergeant speaking, but it came to the chain of command all the way from the general. So if they're coming in the name of the general, we can't just receive them as just them. We have to receive them in the name of the person they're coming in. And what did it say that Jesus were talking about to us? That even as little children, if they don't receive you, they don't receive me. If they don't receive me, they don't receive the Father. So when we talk about a righteous man, that's a peer level relationship. He said, if you can regard those beside you properly and understand that there could be a ball of something locked up in the person beside you serving with you, doesn't necessarily have to come from those above you, that can forever change your life, because they're not coming after their own agenda, but they're coming through me because I'm in them. And if you receive them, you receive me. And if you receive me, you receive the Father. But then he takes it a step further, and he said, even the children, the disciples, those underneath your care, if you can see them properly and understand, even somebody that's still addicted to crack or meth, trying to get their life right, can still have something locked up in them that can change you. He said you can get blessed from people above you, beside you, and even those underneath your care. You can find a 360-degree environment where people unlock stuff from you if you regard them properly. That's why don't you ever look down on somebody that's scrubbing the floors back here. Don't you ever look down on a kitchen worker that's turning hot dogs on the grill. Don't you ever get mad and disregard those people that show up early to unlock our doors and turn on our sound and cut the lights on and set the thermometer so in this place so that it's warm and comfortable for you, or cool in the summer. Don't ever disregard this praise team and think that they're just singing like a concert. Don't ever disregard the leadership that speaks into your life and says, if you would do this when I say it, you'll see change. Because if we can regard one another properly, there's a reward. What is that reward? If the thing locked up inside of me can be unlocked, because it's under a guardian, a steward, or a tutor until the time appointed by the Father. And God says, I don't appoint it by chronos, which is your watch is a chronometer. It's not by time, it's not by age, but by kairos. It's a Hebrew term, Greek, that means season. In other words, God said, I'm not going to do it when you've sat here for 20 years, but I'm going to do it when you come to maturity in the season of your life, that you understand I'm not just looking at them, but I'm looking at you. I'm not just regarding after the flesh, no one, but I'm regarding those as unto you. Yes. Anybody on the same page with me? Yes. Okay. On that same subject, I wasn't going to do it, but I have to since we're already into it. 2 Corinthians 7:1. Talking about regarding others properly. Having therefore these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of, read this for me, the and flesh and spirit. Talking about properly regarding one another. Do we have anyone that grew up in a holiness background? And if you don't even know what that means, then promise you didn't grow up in it. I see 1, 2 hands. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Got any more? 10, 11, 12. Don't fall in love with me for what I'm about to say, as I say it with a pure heart. I am very thankful. I have people in my family that still operate underneath that. I'm thankful that my grandparents got delivered and it was never passed down to me. So I'm not disregarding, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Because I believe the dedication of it blows my mind. The fact that people could press on and hold in and make huge sacrifices. I honor that. I'm not disregarding that. I'm not degrading that. So please understand my perspective. We're talking about regarding people properly, right? He said, cleansing the filth of the flesh and the spirit. Yes. Holiness people, in essence, their job and objective was to drive out all the filth of the flesh, right? You know what I'm talking about. They wanted to get all the people that were drinking and smoking this and that, running with this and sleeping with mamby-pamby and Danny and Nanny and everybody and all that other stuff. They wanted to expose those that were doing all the evilness of the flesh. This is the thing. If you do anything in the flesh that's wrong, it's going to come out. You can't hide that. If you're an addict, you're going to come in with needle marks somewhere, your eyes bloodshot, slurred speech, falling asleep in your mashed potatoes. You can't hide that. If you're cheating on your wife, you're going to come in with lipstick on your collar, smell like somebody not other than her. You can't hide it. It's filth after the flesh. And that whole movement was to cleanse the church of those people. Talking about regarding people properly. If you grew up in that, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. But we're talking about two kinds of filth, of flesh and spirit. What's filth of the spirit? Most people don't even talk about it because they don't understand it. Your spirit is an attitudinal disposition. It's being judgmental. It's being rebellious, backbiting, gossiping, insubordination. What is filth of the spirit? Having two different agendas and talking out of both sides of your mouth and loving people in public and talking to them like a dog in private. And can I be honest? Those of us that are holy, we ran off the wrong kind of filth. Because I've never seen a church split over alcoholism. I have never watched a church split and go in two different directions based upon promiscuity. I've never seen it happen. But I have seen all kinds of churches fall apart at the seam over gossip, over rebellion, over being